Great peace, great peace, great peace. So, if you're asked the question, what has Donald Trump messed up on so far? Has it been the tariff trades? Has it been immigration? Has it been foreign policy? What has it been? Has it been immigration? Me personally, right, if you ask me this question, I would have to say it isn't domestic affairs that he's messed up on. It's been immigration. The tariffs are going to do what they do because, Donald Trump, he's not an economist. So he has to follow the decision and procedures of the person who are put in those cabinets who basically oversee all the financial risk and financial assessments. So the tariffs, that's not really the issue. My issue is his immigration cabinet. Why is it when I walk outside my home, I don't see Africans? Only time I see an African is maybe if they're doing Uber in my community. But other than that, I don't see them. So I would have to say he's messed up on immigration. We could look at foreign affairs, and say, well, is that immigration, right? When you look at immigration, right, it isn't about, levying a tax. It isn't about deportation. It's more so about, are there enough people coming here to do business with the environment? Are enough people coming here to do business and participate in startups? When you have a Nigerian business that comes to your community, you're going to have a chance to see what product they're selling, what consumer relationship perks that they have. You know what I mean? You're going to see how vibrant their markets are back home. You're going to see these things because you're going to see in the customer service that's given. You're going to see in the disputes that are dealing, how does that go, right? So I am back. I just had another call. When you look at these things and you say immigration, does it need more reform? And I think it does. I think immigration needs a lot more reform. Donald Trump, he can be doing more to strengthen the relationship between the people who are coming from the eastern part of the planet and who's coming from the western part of the planet. Like when you look at the relationship between Nigerians and Americans, it's very poor. It's basically a relationship that's, based off of antagonism. And you know what? When you have antagonism, that's a 100-year spread for wars. That's a 100-year spread for inequality to, rear its head among the nations who are involved. So, I don't really want to see, Donald Trump do more for Ukraine and the necessary of giving them aid, bringing them here. And I don't want to see that, I don't want to see that. I want to see him say, you know what, let's bring immigrants here from Haiti. Let's bring immigrants here from, Nigeria. Let's make Detroit the destination for them. Let's put them in these areas, the areas where there's a lot of commercial activity, but, undeveloped in housing. They can be homeowners, based off the fact that, they're coming here from their country, right? They're coming here for a better life. I would like to see black people walking around everywhere, in Southeast Michigan. I would love to see it. Midtown, Goldberg, I would love to see black people from these other countries walking around enjoying the fact that, they're able to be here and experience American freedom and don't necessarily have to worry about their First Amendment rights being arbitrated, based off of, a deportation threat. So we'll see how it goes. And you know what? Every time I see an African coming here to do business, I always tip them. I try to do that because, when you tip people for, the service that they give you, that brightens their day. And also, it makes the product even much better. You know what I mean? Because, like, you know, the financial regulation agencies, they see that. You know what I mean? They see, like, you tip this person this amount of money, you tip them $100, like that's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you always do stuff like that out the kindness of your heart, and that's extra food for them. You know what I'm saying? That's investment for them to do what they got to do, and then you know what? They're gonna come back and give you a caveat. You know what I'm saying? So that's even a bigger deal. So, you know, accept it as is. Accept it as is. You know what? I think he's doing bad on immigration. I think he really is. Not too much concerned about his other politics. You know what I'm saying? Like all the rhetoric and stuff like that. I think deep down in his heart, he knows he's a Catholic. You know what I'm saying? I think he knows he's a Nazi. He's from Germany. So, like, that's what you expect. So think about it. Great peace, Yakoki.